Not as if they are just one type of entity. It's important to keep that in mind. What we mean is, what you call shadow people can represent a myriad of different things. At a minimum, it represents something from the subconscious, something the ego is not seeing, but something that is powerful. And it is also something that is intelligent, because when people see shadow beings, they usually have forms, bodies. If it has a body, it has intelligence. So it's not a lesser energy current that's just moving through the reality. It is an intelligent manifestation of energy that represents something from the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is what you would classify as the underworld, because it is the foundation of your projection of the outer world. So the subconscious is both the inner and underworld. Within the underworld, there are many different types of beings. There are many different types of energies. Some of them relate to ancestor spirits. Some of them relate to spirit guides that are a part of your lineage and are a part of your current soul contracts. And of course, there are entities that are malefic, which you would call negative demonic entities, which you would call lower astral beings. These things, if they are connected to a person, will be connected to the subconscious. It's very rare they attach to the conscious mind, because if they become consciously entangled, the person's aware of them and will do something about it. Oh, it's like finding a fly in your home. It's not a big deal. You don't really care about it until you see the fly, and then you become obsessed, usually with removing it in some way. So lower entities are like this. They hide. They don't like it when their host is aware that they are in resonance with them. So if you see a shadow person, it's a good sign. It means you're evolving past a subconscious limit that has been imposed, either by you or by another version of you at a different point in space and time. So shadow entities can also be a type of energetic camouflage that other entities will use to disguise their form, so they can hide and so they can be more covert in their observations of humanity. So oftentimes a shadow entity is an internal energy being projected outside of you. However, sometimes the shadow entity, the shadow being, is actually a form of camouflage that an outer entity is using to observe your reality. So just because these things have shadowy, underworld, negative connotations does not mean that they are objectively evil or that they're even a problem or a nuisance. Because many of you, as much as you like to say, I am a light warrior, have had incarnations in what you would call the hell realm, the lower dimensions, where many of you ruled. You had kingdoms in those worlds. You had energetic bodyguards and armies and things like this. So some of these beings are from those times, and they still work with you. They still carry out your will. You'd be surprised, all of you, if you were to see just how diverse your spiritual entourage actually is. You would see beings from the light. You would see beings from the darkness. You would see beings from nature. You would see beings that operate as geometric sculptures and structures that are fully sentient and hover in the space. You would see all types of things. So shadow beings, shadow entities can be a myriad of different things. It will really require your own intuition and deductive reasoning to understand who this being is, why they're there, and if they're helpful or hurtful. If you find they're hurtful, there's things you can do. That's the point of learning things like ceremonial magic. If you find there's a negative entity attached to you through vibrational resonance, it's not really an attachment. It's not like they are actually fused at your hip or something. It's not like that. It's that you are in vibrational resonance with their energy, and it creates the experience of attachment, which means as soon as you change your frequency sufficiently enough, you'll no longer be in the frequency range of that entity, so the attachment can't reform. So if you do find there is what you call an attachment, it means you must radically transform yourself, because if you only slightly change a little bit, if you only slightly change the energy of your space a little bit, you're still going to be in vibrational resonance with that being, because it has a frequency range. It's not just one frequency you need to transcend. It's a range of different frequencies. That means you must make many changes that elevate you, that build you up, that build your life up, and you'll naturally fall out of resonance with that being.